I'm delighted today to welcome Jim Bode, Global Head of Broker Relations at AlphaSense, and even more delighted to welcome AlphaSense as our lead sponsor for the second year running to Unbundling Uncovered London, an event which I think you'll all agree is incredibly timely given all the issues going on in the investment research market right now. At this stage, I'd like to invite Jim to introduce himself, and then we'll kick off into some of the issues that we think we're going to be covering during the day. So, Jim, over to you.
Mike, thanks for your time today. This is great. AlphaSense was so proud to be your main sponsor last year. It was such a successful event. It was fabulous. Between speaking to the research departments who were in attendance as well as the buy side, everyone truly loved the conference, and I'm sure everyone is looking forward to attending it again this year, especially AlphaSense. We believe this particular conference really brings together the people, both our clients as well as our contributors to AlphaSense, that help us move in the right direction. So we're looking forward to attending again and participating in one of your panels.
Jim, obviously we're going to cover a lot during the day, everything from research budgeting, research valuation, regulations, corporate access, the move into very interesting, innovative technologies. But maybe you could just give us a couple of ideas from your perspective on what you think is driving change in the research market right now.
Well, it's really funny. Since last year at this time, the word generative AI has come into everybody's vocabulary, much more so than what it was. Now, the interesting thing there is, what does generative AI mean to everyone? It's probably a little bit different in many, many cases. But the real things we see happening is a change in consumption habits. You're seeing people use alternative data a lot more. You're seeing people use less research, but finding the right research so that they can make better business decisions. And that's what this is all about, is how do you take the consumption of research to drive it down so that you get the answers that you as a business analyst, portfolio manager need to make that decision on what you're trying to accomplish. And so that's really the thing there, is how do they get to that answer? And that's what I think is changing fastest.
What would you say to organizations trying to find the right balance between security and obviously taking advantage of innovation as they look to the potential benefits of harnessing these technologies?
It's funny. I've spoken to a number of brokers recently, and one of their big concerns is they see the security that's in place today. They're comfortable with it. What they're really concerned about and what they're trying to get a handle on is, where is it going to be 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? Because the technologies are changing so rapidly at this point in our world that's what concerns them. Does generative AI, does AI technologies change how they write research, how they deliver research, how research is consumed? And they're trying to get really a handle on it. So as part of that, they want to make sure that their research is secure. And then on the buy side, everything that they're doing is secure, even though they're all going to be using additional technologies in the coming months and years.
But if you're one of these types of organizations, either on the buy or the sell side, indeed, what should they be doing now to create or retain competitive advantage? Because it's probably a little bit daunting, so much change going on. Maybe you're at the top and you're trying to defend that, or maybe you're thinking this is something you could take advantage of. What can they do now?
So if you're out there producing research today, one of the things they're all trying to do is not be another Me Too producer. They're looking at how are they using alternative data? How can they use technology? How can they use expert transcripts and expert interviews to get to that little piece of information that's going to help to their client? So one of the things it's really about is, in a very competitive marketplace, how do they become just a little more creative and find more information that's going to be key to their clientele? Because that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And then if you're on the buy side ingesting this type of information, and you're working with so many different counterparties on the research side.
So looking at it from that standpoint is, you've got your stable of brokers that are providing you information, as well as independent research providers. And I think the real thing that they're continuing looking at is that stable constant, or should I be changing that? Is there somebody coming up that's writing some new and different research that's been really productive for me? Maybe I need to adjust my budget and put it in there, more towards that particular firm. So they constantly need to be looking at who is producing the right kind of research that helps them get to the right decision. And that's one of the things I think the buy side needs to be looking at.
I think that's fantastic, because I think if one of the things that we've all seen coming out of MiFID II was actually, I think there was a hope from regulators to encourage competition and diversity in research, and actually the opposite happened, greater concentration. So what we didn't see was people really making an effort to see if there was better value out there, and sort of second guessing their own assumptions on the inputs that they relied on traditionally and habitually. And I think, if you're saying this technology allows people to have their processes, but also expose themselves to things that give them some sort of competitive advantage, I think that would bring the circle together quite nicely, having had a bit of a deviation and perhaps not in the direction that maybe some of these regulators intended.
Sure, that's very true.
Well, Jim, we're really looking forward to having you on stage in the panel, and obviously also everyone from AlphaSense joining us on the day. We can't wait until November the 8th, and we look forward to having you in London.
Mike, I'm looking forward to coming over to London. I always enjoy my trips over there, and your conferences are always fun. So thank you very much for including AlphaSense.